Yeah, here we go. Cinco, big number 5. It's Ruthless Politics. Jesse, can we bring up a little bit of my my oomph? My voice? Yeah.
Cinco de Show, the 5th show.
Hey, Kid Chronic here. I'm Treez. You're listening to Ruthless Politics. And, folks.
It's Mueller time, baby.
It's Mueller time. You've been waiting to crack that brew open, that can of Mueller.
All this buildup for meh.
For something so sad. We're going to get into that. Guys, it's show number 5. We were off for a little bit. We're sorry about that, but things happen in life, and sometimes life comes ahead of podcasts, as hard as that is to believe.
Just
right?
1 week, though. Not too bad.
No, not bad at all. And we want to thank, we got a lot of fans very fast. We're approaching 500 Facebook likes, so we appreciate that. Thank you so much to all of you.
I think we should give the 500th fan like a T-shirt.
We are. We're gonna do a little giveaway, and we'll make sure to get somebody's info or everybody near 500 if we can nail you down how we do that. But so yeah, keep liking the show and following it. And we do have a YouTube channel as well, so everything's broken down by clip and full episode and all that.
More
so,
YouTube channel followers for sure. Get on our YouTube page.
Get on there. Yeah, so Ruthless Politics, you'll find it there. Just put that into your YouTube search. We've got many subjects to go over. We're going to be talking the Mueller. We'll dissect the Mueller testifying in front of the Congress. We got the 2020 CNN debates that are coming up at the end of the month. We've got Epstein news, more and more Epstein. You can't get your fill of pedophilia. And Facebook, some people say a slap on the wrist. I don't know. That's a lot of fucking money.
That's a big slap on the wrist.
I don't quite understand that. As much as I hate their guts, I love them. But
I hate them and I love their site.
You're right.
It's just a hate-love relationship with the book these days.
It's so tough. And then if we'll get into this $15 an hour getting passed and Bernie Sanders and the whole $15 an hour thing. All right. So that being said, folks, away we go. Mueller, Kid Chronic. This was a big moment for Democrats. So everything culminated to the report. Report wasn't really good enough. Nobody wants to read 484 pages of anything, as we've discovered in I
was surprised to realize how many people in our culture will not read 400 pages. It's pretty much everyone. No one will read 400 pages.
Nobody.
I mean, that was a huge mistake of Mueller. I don't know how he could see that coming because I'm supposed, in law school they teach you to write these things, right? But even our Congress members, they make $278,000 a year. And they won't read the Mueller report.
They won't read it.
They won't fucking read it.
And how about this?
Their jobs depend on it, and they won't even fucking read it.
You just said the word, their job. That's your fucking job. When you were in language arts, I didn't want to read fucking Beowulf.
Yeah,
but it was
or the
my
red fern
job.
grows, but that's what you do.
And guess what? I didn't. And I got an F on the report. So do they get an F? So you're absolutely right. Your job is to once in a while read some shit.
There is no accountability. These people do nothing. They just only act in their own self-interest. They grandstand at the most inopportune moments. They don't even do their homework. And then they make these huge decisions that affect all of us.
And they kind of go on the record about things that, again, they didn't read anything about. And I'm sure they got some cliff notes from a staffer or whatnot. So some of them are probably completely, in the dark. But some probably got
the audacity
of
a Congress member to show up on the record at a televised hearing having not read the report. And that's what you're going to do. That's your best foot forward. Like, have you no shame? Have you no dignity?
So the shame in that is the only reason why we had this man traipsed out in front of everybody. So I am of the opinion, I'll lead off here, that so here's my takeaway, and then I'm going to let you take more time on this because this was such a big moment for your party and for the whole gotcha Trump kind of situation.
Ouch.
Oh, shit. I fuck with this. Okay. So it was a very, very big moment. My opinion was, obviously, it didn't deliver what you wanted. You fished for the exoneration. You got that. Well, you know what? Stop. Let's just start with the obvious. The moment I turned it on, I saw that this man had some problems. I first thought, all right, he's high. He got drunk or stoned. He took a pill. He looks glassy. He's slow. And I didn't even hear his testimony. I just saw his face. You had somebody sick in your family. I had somebody sick in my family. I also had somebody with dementia. I believe this guy has early onset dementia. I don't believe it was an act. I actually felt sad watching him. I have a lot of sympathy for elderly people. I've had a lot of elderly people in my life that were very meaningful to me. And so watching this man was really a sad thing. So they traipsed him out there. So my first thought was we saw, some crazy shit. Forced to repeat the question, and we'll go into some of the other things, and we'll talk about that.
Let me comment on his health real quick.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, there's something going on with Mueller. He's a 74-year-old man, so there's the age thing. So he could just be aging, right?
But how old is Trump?
Well, Trump is old too.
Fucking
and
firecracker.
we can get into that one. Trump is healthy for his age. I don't
Yeah.
know if Putin is sending him
He's fat.
the cocktail and he's taking the steroid cocktail and the HGH, and that's what's keeping him young. I'm not sure if it's in the spray tan or if, hey,
Right.
only the good die young. This guy's
But
a
he's
bad
in
guy.
his 70s. Like,
Yeah.
he ain't up there. He's
He
a
is,
whippersnapper.
but snap back real quick to Mueller. So here's the thing a couple things about the health of Mueller. When my uncle, who you know recently, he was 74, he died of cancer. He looked and he sounded like Mueller. I'm not saying Mueller has cancer. That just happened to me, so that's fresh in my mind. I'm a little biased towards that, but I think that we may find out later that Mueller had some health issues. Now, here's where that gets interesting. Now, why was Mueller put into this position in the first place? Was this the best Rosenstein can find? Did Rosenstein pick him because he knew he would be bad at an internet investigation? Did Rosenstein not know that he was aging? Maybe Mueller is great at running an investigation still at his advanced age, even if he's sick, but could that not affect his decision to not press to interview the president, to kind of end the investigation, to not go into Deutsche Bank? If he's sick and he wants to spend his last days with his family, or if he's just aging and he wants to spend time with his family, there's a lot of reasons for him to cut the investigation short. And so now I just have way more questions than answers just about his general placement in there. And then I'm going to run that into, now, why didn't the Democrats speak to Mueller's team and find out that this is the condition he was in before parading him out there? How can the Democrats be so unprepared all the time? It's as if they do no research. It's as if they have no leadership. They're just floating around in the wind like a dandelion.
This was Nadler's fault.
The leaves off.
This was Nadler's fault. You're right.
How is Nadler so unprepared? Nadler seems like a very prepared person. How did he make this mistake?
We all know that lawyers in court, they know exactly. They dress you. They make sure they know exactly what state of mind everyone's going to be in a trial. Right? We know that. So for them not to do this on this something so
in a
important,
trial, you usually have a deposition too. So I'm sure they couldn't depo Mueller, but I'm sure teams met, right? People talked before this happened. There was a negotiation. Didn't someone on Mueller's team be like, look, this guy is getting older, guys. He's getting older.
Well, someone should have. So that didn't happen. Number two, you forced this guy in. The Democrats they wanted to talk about the pages, and this is when we were talking about how people don't read. Well, so instead of reading, we'll get the guy to narrate the whole thing, and we'll ask him a bunch of questions. And then they also knew the Republicans were going to have a shot to fire at him too, which they did. So some of that can backfire as well because it becomes like the counterpoint. What did you come away with? How many times, number one, he forced them to repeat the question? There was times he didn't understand. I forget which congressman it was, and they asked him, do you remember what president nominated you when you first became director of FBI? And he said Bush. And the guy says,
said Bush
actually,
one, right?
Yeah, well, he just said Bush, but I think he meant Bush one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way he could have meant George W. And the guy says, no, I'm sorry to tell you, sir, it was Reagan. He did that on purpose to show you, because to give him a gotcha question had nothing to do with anything, was to show his state of mind. That was very sad that he didn't know that.
I think that was sad.
That was a sign.
I do think it was sad, and it was definitely a sign, and it was definitely planned, and it was a little bit of a low-blow torpedo maybe to kind of focus on his health. But here's the thing, too, though. I don't think that I would know that kind of thing, because you know why? That's the kind of like tedious little fact that a busy person running a busy organization could forget. It happened 20 years ago. People sometimes, like I've had a busy life, and I'll bump into them in my hometown, and they'll be like, hey, do you remember this teacher we had? And they remember it vividly. I have no clue. I don't remember it at all. Like I've lived 100 lives since then.
That is possible. So if somebody asked Robert Mueller what was the last store that you bought boxers in, you could say that. But you probably should know what president appointed you to the greatest position you ever had.
One would think.
But again, we know he's sick. So here, let me tell you this.
I just can't reiterate the fact that I do believe that in a few weeks we'll find out that he has some sort of ailment.
100%. There's something wrong with this guy. And by the way, because now everyone's got a magnifying glass to find that out.
Exactly.
It will not be dropped.
And he didn't deserve this, and this is obviously why he didn't want to be paraded out.
Well,
and they also tried to swear in one of his deputies to help him with the questioning.
A caretaker.
And this is why.
A literal caretaker.
A caretaker, yeah.
First of all, you already lose dignity once you start looking at this. This is a dignified man. This was a fucking embarrassment, and it really does fall on Democrats because you force this guy's hand. And again, forget the politics of it all, but he should never have been up there. You didn't get enough out of this expedition. If you put these in the water, you didn't catch big enough fish that you should be happy with. But let me just say this before you say anything. What you did get was this is the big talk you guys are going with today, exoneration. He would not exonerate. He will not exonerate, and it leaves your door open. So this is not over, and they've gone on record saying it's not over. So this was just another rung on the fucking ladder, folks. If you're a Trump fan, there's more. And if you're a Democrat, you ain't done. So what's your opinion on that, in that this ain't over? This was just another...
Here's the thing. On the surface, do I think that the Democrats kind of lost or look bad or at least look unprepared? Absolutely. But, I don't take the whole weight on our shoulders, because I do think that the Republicans acting so irresponsibly over the years and turning so many blind eyes to Trump's poor behavior and to his abuses of power have forced the Democrats into way uncharted no man's land. And the Republicans should have stood up and kind of stood up to this president a long time ago, and it hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to what we got out of this, Jesus, I don't know, the Democrats are looking as a party for a knockout punch. We want a knockout punch on Trump. That's all we can see. He deserves a knockout punch. We want a knockout punch, and we can't find it. We couldn't get it in the report. We couldn't get it in the hearings. We can't find it anywhere. So I have come to the realization Trump is powerful. He has a lot of followers. He has big support. He has international support. He's super famous. He's a billionaire. He's probably been involved in crimes his whole life. He has built up a fortress around him, and we're not going to be able to take him down with a KO punch, it doesn't seem. So I'm kind of hoping for death of 1,000 cuts, stacking a lot of small victories against him, peeling one follower away after another until he can't win anymore. And remember, Trump lost the popular vote in the last election. Then he lost the 2018 election. He hasn't gained any followers. He's pissed off more women. He's pissed off people in the Rust Belt.
If anything, he's
pissed
lost.
off farmers.
He's lost.
So
people.
he's facing a hard election. He does have Russia on the side, and he could cheat, and he's pretty media powerful, and he's savvy. So there's all that going on. So, as a Democrat, I look at it like hopefully enough of these things stack up to get the victory.
Well, and again, this is something you talked about, the exoneration thing, which, by the way, Mueller cannot do. He is not in a position, and everyone talked about this, and the true legalese, folks, is he's not there to exonerate. But you can get him on record saying, I won't exonerate him. Well, that's like saying, I won't fart in his face. It's something you're not going to do. But you could say that about a billion things. So that's kind of the problem. But you guys are running with that. It's not over.
But it is one of the blocks right there, because you have to remember, now that this happened, so little subtle things come out of this. So there's no way that Trump can say no collusion, no obstruction anymore. That's gone. That's out of the playbook. So everybody Trump, all of Trump for years, he's been saying it. It's got him this far, but that's one of the little blocks peeled away from him. So there's so many things getting peeled away from him that it's going to be hard for him to fight. He doesn't have his team anymore. Most of his election team is in jail or facing charges, right? Well, his cabinet has mostly resigned. So it's kind of like just Trump and the minions that are left, and I don't know that they're going to be able to surmount this. Plus, you have to think FBI, CIA, they are watching them like hawks. If one of them even talks to a Russian, they're going to jail. So it's almost like everything's it's a barren wasteland around Trump, and he's got to make this happen all on his own with him and Ivanka and Jared. And I don't know if they can do it, but he's doing it now. So far,
he's doing it. Well, we're going to get into your.
But can he win an election that way?
Well, we're going to find out. It depends, I guess, who you stack up against him, and that's where we're going to get to next. But let me just say this: a couple of even Democrats, whatever. These were some quotes by some prominent people after this whole Mueller testifying. ABC News' Terry Moran, he's bigwig at ABC News, said impeachment's over. Okay, one of you guys. NBC's Chuck Todd said this was an optics disaster. Chris Wallace, Fox guy, not exactly the strongest hardliner. Disaster for Democrats and the reputation of Robert Mueller. David Axelrod, Democratic strategist. This is very, very painful. Alan Dershowitz, lifelong Democrat, said it was confusing and contradictory. It's clear he didn't write the report. And Dershowitz, even who's made, by the way, a shitload of money putting a forward on the Mueller report. He's one of the people you can buy a book from. You know what I mean? So he put his own forward on it. Sold 1 million of them, was like a bestseller, right?
Well, yeah.
And then he goes and says it shouldn't have even been called the Mueller Report because he didn't write it.
One day when this all slows down, we're going to do a whole episode on Dershowitz because he's a fucking character and he's involved in all sorts of shit.
Yes. Yeah, we're coming up on break here. One last one I want to read to you, Pat, is Michael Moore. And we know he's...
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't disagree with any of these so far. What's Moore got to say?
But Michael Moore had the most probably interesting one, and that was... This was a tweet, so he went on record with this. Everybody else just said what they said. A frail old man, unable to remember things, stumbling, refusing to answer basic questions. I said it in 2017, and Mueller confirmed it today. All you pundits and moderates and lame Dems who told the public to put their faith in the esteemed Robert Mueller, just shut the fuck up from now on.
Well, it's pretty accurate. And I'll tell you what, real quick. Mueller was involved in like the government from a long time ago, Republican administration. So was our boy A.G. Barr. So, they all know each other. They don't want to rock the boat. It is what it is. I agree with most of that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Ruthless Politics would like to thank all of our badass sponsors. SFL Media, media for the modern world. Check them out at sfl.media. Video God, the best viral video site online. Check them out at videogod.com. Pure Clear Hemp, premium CBD isolate. Check that out at pureclearhemp.com. And Tall Circuit Technology, home automation experts. Of course, our show's hosted by Space Coast Podcast, and a special thanks to them.